A quiet rule change can sometimes be more powerful than a loud announcement. And for millions of UK pensioners, December 7th could be one of those moments that slips past unnoticed until the effects suddenly feel very real. A change to how benefits and pensions interact with banking systems is approaching, and while it may sound technical on the surface, the impact could touch everyday life in ways many are not prepared for. Today is not about fear, it is about awareness. And this is a warning every pensioner should hear. For years, most pensioners have enjoyed a routine that feels stable. Money arrives on time, bills are paid, shopping is planned. Trust develops between the individual, the bank, and the system handling their income. That routine becomes a foundation of daily life, especially for those living on fixed incomes. Even a short disruption can cause serious stress. That is why the new banking rules connected to benefit and pension payments have created such deep concern. From December 7th, changes to how certain accounts are verified, monitored, and processed are expected to tighten. These changes are aimed at improving security, preventing fraud, and ensuring that payments go to the right people in the right way. On paper, that sounds sensible. In reality, for many older people, it introduces a layer of complexity that feels overwhelming. The most important point is this: the money you rely on is not changing. But the way in which that money is accessed, confirmed, and protected is. Several pensioners still assume that once an account is set up and payments are flowing, nothing more is ever needed. But systems evolve, rules update, security tightens. And when people do not keep up with those changes, the system does not pause out of kindness. It continues forward, often leaving people confused about why something that worked perfectly yesterday suddenly feels blocked today. One of the biggest risks under the new rules involves account verification. Banks are under stronger requirements to confirm the identity, status, and eligibility of account holders receiving regular government-linked payments. This is not aimed at genuine pensioners. It is aimed at closing gaps where fraud, mistaken identities, or outdated records have allowed payments to go astray in the past. However, when systems are tightened, they do not always distinguish between bad actors and honest people with outdated information. A change of address not properly updated, a joint account where one holder has passed away, a name that does not exactly match official records, a dormant account suddenly becoming active again. All of these small issues can now trigger verification flags. When that happens, payments may pause temporarily until matters are confirmed. For someone who depends on that money for food, heating, and daily essentials, even a short delay can feel terrifying. Another major change relates to how banks communicate with benefit systems. Faster data sharing means problems are detected more quickly. This improves security, but it also shortens the time people have to respond to issues. In the past, a mismatch might have taken months to surface. Now it could appear in weeks or even days. That shift requires a change in mindset. Pensioners can no longer afford to assume that silence means everything is fine. Regular checks of bank statements, letters, and account messages are becoming essential. Digital access also plays a growing role. While no one is being forced to go fully online, more reminders, updates, and confirmations are now issued digitally first. For pensioners who do not use smartphones, email, or online banking, this can create a dangerous gap. Important notices might be sent, but never seen. Deadlines could pass unnoticed. And by the time a letter finally arrives, the response window may already be tight. Families often assume their older relatives are fully informed. Pensioners often assume that families would step in if something went wrong. In reality, many people sit quietly in the middle, unaware that something important has changed at all. One of the most sensitive areas affected by the new rules is joint accounts. Many pensioners share accounts with partners, adult children, or carers for convenience. Under stricter monitoring, banks now pay closer attention to who controls the account and how benefit-related money is being used. This does not mean shared accounts are forbidden, but it does mean that unclear ownership or mismatched permissions can trigger reviews. If an account is flagged for review, access can be limited during checks. No wrongdoing is assumed at first, but the inconvenience can feel severe when money is suddenly unreachable. There is also a growing focus on overseas activity. Pensioners who spend extended time abroad, receive foreign pensions, or frequently transfer money outside the UK may encounter additional checks. Again, this is about preventing crime. But from the pensioner's perspective, it often feels like suspicion rather than protection. Another issue lies with old savings accounts that suddenly become active again. Many people have accounts they rarely use. If pension payments are redirected, switched, or accidentally sent to an older account, it can trigger security controls. The result is often confusion as to where the money has gone and why access is restricted. These are not theoretical problems. They are the everyday consequences of systems becoming stricter without everyone being fully prepared. The emotional impact should not be underestimated. For many pensioners, money is not just money. It is independence. It is dignity. It is security. When access feels threatened, anxiety rises quickly. People start sleeping poorly. They stop spending. They postpone medical appointments. They cut back on food. Fear does not always show up loudly. Sometimes it shows up quietly in the smallest daily choices. December 7th is significant not because everyone will suddenly be affected on that exact date, but because it marks the point at which these updated systems begin operating more fully. After that point, issues that once took months to surface may appear quickly. Actions that once went unnoticed may now be questioned. And mistakes that were once tolerated may now lead to temporary locks, reviews, or delays. What makes this especially difficult is that many pensioners pride themselves on being cautious. They keep paperwork, they avoid risky financial behavior, they obey the rules. So when they are suddenly told something must be checked again, the emotional reaction is often confusion rather than resistance. Why now? Why me? What have I done wrong? In most cases, the answer is nothing at all. The truth is that the system is changing, not the person. The safest response to these upcoming rules is not panic. It is preparation. Checking that bank details are up to date. Making sure names match official records exactly. Confirming that addresses are correct. Reviewing whether joint accounts are clearly authorized. Ensuring that death notifications have been properly processed where applicable. Making sure trusted family members know where important documents are kept. These steps sound small, but they prevent most of the disruptions people fear. Another important step is opening and reading every letter, no matter how harmless it looks. Many serious issues begin as simple requests for confirmation. Miss that request, and the system escalates automatically. Once escalation begins, everything becomes slower and more stressful. It is also wise for pensioners to talk openly with family members about their finances. This is not about handing over control. It is about ensuring someone else understands how things work in case quick help is needed. Silence is often what turns small administrative issues into full-blown crises. A growing concern among advisors is that many older people now feel overwhelmed by paperwork and official language. Forms feel longer, letters feel more complicated, call centers feel harder to reach. When people feel overwhelmed, they delay. When they delay, deadlines pass quietly. And when deadlines pass, automated systems take over. This is not a world built for patience. It is built for efficiency. And efficiency does not pause for fear. December 7th represents another step in that direction. The rules themselves are not designed to punish pensioners. They are designed to protect the wider system. But protection always comes with friction. And it is that friction that many older people find exhausting. There is also a strong emotional layer to this change. Many pensioners already feel that the world is moving too fast. Technology updates constantly, rules shift frequently, language changes, services go online. Another update, even a technical one, can feel like another reminder that the ground no longer stands still beneath their feet. That feeling of being left behind is sometimes more painful than the financial risk itself. Yet within this challenge lies something positive. Greater awareness also brings greater protection. When systems become clearer, crime becomes harder. When records become cleaner, errors become fewer. When communication improves, long-term stability actually increases. The danger lies only in ignorance. No pensioner should feel ashamed for struggling with change. Change is not designed around comfort, it is designed around systems. Comfort must be rebuilt intentionally through understanding. That is why this message matters now, not after December 7th. This is the moment to act calmly, to check, to ask, to confirm, to involve a trusted person if needed. Not because disaster is guaranteed, but because prevention is far easier than repair. If even one pensioner avoids a delayed payment, a locked account, or a stressful review by hearing this message in time, then the warning has done its job. Because at its heart, this is not a story about rules. It is a story about peace of mind. And peace of mind in later life is priceless. The future will always bring new systems, new safeguards, and new rules. That part is unavoidable. But fear does not have to come with it. The people most protected are not the ones with the most money. They are the ones with the most awareness. December 7th is not a deadline to fear. It is a reminder to prepare. And sometimes, a simple check today can spare a lifetime of worry tomorrow.